Hello, my crafty friends. This is Noelle at Pretty Sassy Creations. Welcome back to my channel. So today is episode number 2 in the Trashy Trash journal that we had constructed last week. And I already did episode 2, part of it, and realized I never pushed the button to record it. So what I had done is I went ahead and sewn in my 2 signatures. And this is something I do struggle with unless I am really taking my time on it. And yeah, so I decided as looking here that I have room for another signature right here. So I thought maybe we could go ahead and do that one together. I don't know how this is going to go. I'm going to do my best. Like I said, this is not one of my strengths when it comes to junk journaling. So since I already have my lines here for where these had gone, I am going to go ahead and poke in the middle each one in hopes that I can get it as straight as possible. I always use one of these blocks or sponges, it makes it go through a little bit easier. And yeah, so I'm going to put this under here. I'm going to quickly actually draw a line. My ruler's not even that straight. So we're just going to kind of, you know what? No, I'm not. We're just going to do it. So I'm going to poke right there. That came through. I'm going to poke again in the middle. Again, doing the best that I feel good. I'm not being, like I said, too precise. So there we go. I've got my 3 holes. And then what I wanted to try and do just to see if this would work, because I do sometimes, my pages get all wonky and it doesn't matter. That's completely fine. But sometimes I don't want them to be wonky. I'd like them to be a little bit better. And if I'm using my crocodile, the big, huge big thing of, let's see, do I have it right here? Let me just take a peek. I do like this thing to do signatures is great. And if I'm trying to do one, extra special, I guess, or perfect, I'll use that. But for these, I'm not too worried about it. But I was curious at wondering if I set this down here in where it goes right there. Actually, I want the center one. I want to do the center. So excuse me here for a second. Let's take the center, which is right here. And I want to take my pencil and just see if I get any spots where I can tell where I need to poke my holes. And I did not. Shoot. I was really hoping that would work just to make it a little bit more easier, I guess. Yeah, I'm going to try it again. I'm going to press a little harder. Okay, so of course I broke my pencil. Let's try it with this. Okay, so that's not going to work. I tried. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to turn this inside out. Guys, there's so many easier ways to do this. I'm just trying to do one there. Okay, so let's go ahead. Let's put this back in my center and let's find it here. There we go. Stick that in there. And then I will usually take and clamp these together. Well, okay. I have them all in there. They're packed in tight. Go ahead and put these together as best that I can. And then I'm going for it. I am just going for it. So let's find my little square here. I've got that. All right, good enough. So right here's the first one. Stick that through. There we go. Here's the second one. Again, I'm gonna stick that through. And then my third one. There we go. So we've got the holes punched, which is great. And then I'm going to take some embroidery floss. I've got some purple here. I think that should probably do it. And then that is going to be empty. One thing that, a lot of people do use, and I do have some, but for this I'm choosing to, to use what I have. And that is this waxed, there's waxed thread, which I have right here. It goes through a little bit easier. If you're binding or wanting to put beads, that works a little bit easier. But right now I'm trying to do this tutorial to where you don't have to go out and purchase anything. So in here I have a needle somewhere. Maybe I did not put that in here. Let me see if I have one up here, which I do. It's smaller, but here it is. So here's my needle, and I'm gonna thread the embroidery thread through there. And I usually go 4 times. 1, 2, 3. That's a little bit more than 4. And then I just simply come through here. I want my ends to be at the top. So I'm going to start at the top. And I will tell you that Lynn at A Bit of Birdsong has a great tutorial on this binding with coming out the top, which I did have a little struggle with. So I will for sure link her video in the description box. And it looks like I'm gonna have a little trouble with this one. Wants to give me some. Let's see here. I just wiggle that around a little bit. Let's take this off so I can have a little bit more movement, because actually this needle is bigger than the one I used to poke with. So like I said, I will have Lynn's link down below. Okay, there we go. So let's put that in there. And so there we have our first stitch. I'm going to put a binder clip on here just so I don't pull it through, which I have been known to do. And then I'm going to go down through the second hole here. We're doing a 3 pamphlet stitch. If I didn't mention that already, which who knows, I can't remember 3 minutes ago. Yeah, so we're gonna go through here. There we go. Is that it right there? Yes, it is. So it's really hard, I feel myself, to show this on camera because with me, I'm moving the pages every which way. I can't really move my camera, automatically. So it's just kind of a, I guess, take a peek, but if I were you, I'd go check out Lynn's video. Being completely honest with you. She's got it down and clearly knows what she's doing. Okay, so then there's the third. Okay, I'm gonna pull it taut. Okay, and then I'm gonna go back through that second, and I wanna make sure that I don't poke the string through that right here. I don't wanna poke that string. So I've got that here. All right, and that is it for coming out the top. Now, if I wasn't coming out the top, I would do it a little bit differently. Not much, but definitely a little bit. I'm going to pull this a little bit tighter and then go like this so you can see it. Okay. And then I'm just going to take this, pull, make sure inside is nice and tight. See where my middle is here. Yep, looks good. That's nice and tight. We're going to do that down, and where my needle, just to make sure I get it nice and tight. Okay, and I'm going to take just a little bit of glue just for a little extra safety purposes, and just put a dab there. Okay, and just give it another. Now for the 3-hole pamphlet stitch, all my pages here are the same size. Okay, so I know that a 3-hole pamphlet stitch is going to work perfectly for this journal. And, they're all going to, even though I have 3 different size, maybe bags, I know it's going to work because they're all pretty much the same size. That's not making sense. What I'm trying to say is if I had, like, say for instance, this journal here, okay, it has all different size papers. There's small, there's regular, and you can see, like right here, I wasn't able to get the stitch and all 3 stitches in that piece of paper. Right here, again, I think I got it in 1. So my suggestion for that is 2 things. This is, again, trial and error on my end, is to either do a 5-hole pamphlet stitch, or if you're going to do a 3-hole, I usually bring mine down about 1 inch from the top and 1 inch from the bottom, and then go in between for the center. If I was going to do a 3-hole next time on this journal, I would bring it down probably more about 2 inches or maybe 1.5 inches so I'm able to catch those other smaller papers inside. Just a suggestion, but I feel like that was worth mentioning. Again, just because trial and error, I've learned that. So now we have 3 signatures in our journal. We did it with embroidery thread, and I had mentioned earlier about having the waxed thread and how it's easier to put charms and whatever you'd like on. I am going to, because I'm pretending I don't have this, okay? And I am pretending that I don't have this, which is wax that you run thread through. I have a candle. So with the candle, I will just go like this, and doing it this way, I'm getting all the fibers, and now I have waxed thread that's going to make it much easier to put charms or whatever on. And if you wanted, I did not do this clearly, but you could also do this before you bind, and it might make it a little bit easier, but you do it whatever way you feel most comfortable with. This is not necessary to have waxed thread or to wax your thread. This is just something that I like to do on my journals. Another alternative that I have used previously in binding has been dental floss. I just broke the candle. Whoops. It's all right. But yeah, I have used dental floss in my binding before, and it works fantastic. Whoops. And it's like that little free one you get at the dentist's office when you go to the dentist and get your teeth cleaned. So that is that on binding your journal with a 3-hole pamphlet stitch. Okay, so the binding is done. So I've put this back and forth in my head of what I actually wanted to do making this Trashy Trash journal. And what I have decided is that I am going to collect my trash weekly during each week and use that in my journal. And so like right here, this would be my first week. It's up to you whether you want that to be your first week. It's up to you if you want to just use trash. The whole idea here was we bound some trash together, some paper bags. So that's what I'm going to do. And I have a week's worth of trash here that I have right here. Let me make sure there's nothing else. Okay, so here's my trash for the week. My second question is, do I want to do 1-page spread or 2-page spreads? I think it's going to depend weekly. I'd like to say 1 week spreads or 1 page for the week, but you know, sometimes we have a lot, which I do, and I don't have to use it all. So another suggestion I have, if you look at this page and you're like, my gosh, like I don't know where to start, I'm gonna tell you where you can start. If you'd like, fresh paper, get some paint on it. There, now it's not fresh anymore, you can do whatever you want. I found that helped me. I don't know why, but it did. But so here's some trash that I have. I've got more trash than I have space. So I'm just gonna go ahead and start putting some stuff down and just see where it all takes me. This week we went to is this the North Carolina one? No, this is a different one. We do like our bagels on a Sunday, so sometimes we'll go and I will, there's about 3 bagel shops we like around, and so we'll go and pick one, and this is one of them, so we can put that down. This is a Food Lion bag. Not sure I'll use it, but you never know. They can be kind of difficult to put down. Cheese-It. You will notice a lot of mine trash it's food. I mean, we have food every day, right? So why not go ahead and save some of it and cut it up and keep it from the trash? I mean, obviously you can't do it all, but I feel every little bit helps. And yeah, so this is kind of thick, but I think, having that soft binding, we're going to be able to expand quite a bit. And again, not being too precise here, just kind of putting it on there. And I am more than happy if you guys have any questions. please let me know in the comments. Like I said, I was trying to debate on where I wanted to go with this. If I'm making a trashy journal for a swap, I go a little bit, well, a lot deeper. I'll bring out my paints, I'll bring out the sewing machine, and it's a process. I'll go back and forth from this page to that page to another page. It's really, if I'm completely honest, it's too hard to do a tutorial on because I am just all over the place and I don't know where it's going to take me next. Doing a completed page, like, I don't do it like that. I don't complete one page and then move on to the next. I'm just all over the place. So at some point when I do a swap again for my trash style journal and the group Trashy and Flowish, I will put on the camera and then I'll fast forward it. So then you guys can see exactly where I go with that. Here is a place we went that was a South Coast beer project, and I cut that out. I thought that might look kind of cool right there. So I think I'm gonna go ahead and glue that down. Let's see here, I've got some Mod Podge. Make sure you guys can see, which you can. Awesome. So yeah, so I think this is the route I'm going to take. And I really hope you guys stick with me and hang out and have some fun. I'd love to do a live, but I have to look at the YouTube rules. I don't know if I have to have like so many subscribers or if I have to limit myself. I'm not quite sure how that, all the rules and regs and all that. So, all right, put that down here. There we go. Whoop. That's all right. I don't need every bit of it. Okay, that's good for right now. All right, so we got that down. This is something we got at a garage sale, actually, and we're gonna put it on our gazebo. And I thought, if anything, this made a cool tab for right there or on a page. I thought that was kind of fun. And this, again, it's super thick. Let's see if I can, I think with all of these things, I'll just maybe try and collage it. One thing I will be doing that may come from trash, but it may come from a magazine, is a focal point. So just so you know. All right, that can go there. So where's my, okay, let's just bring it all the way over. All right, so we have that. Here I had bought some more duct tape. Let's see what else we have. This was, where'd we go? We went to the South Coast Beer Project right here. So we have a little wrapper thingy. That could be fun. Let's see, we've got, this was some more, this was, again, this was another garage sale find. Poster mark, no, this was Five Below. Let's see here. Well, that's not the layer I wanted off. Okay, so I did it off camera. So you guys didn't have to hear all that. We'll go ahead and collage this on. I think I want it like that. So yeah, this journal is not going to be a very huge as far as the pages, obviously. But that's okay. I am okay with that. Let's see, do we want to put that up there? We can put that, or do we want to bring it down here? I know, why don't we cut it in half? And since we went to the beer project, I'll just put that there. Let's get Bagel Doc on there. And then another thing I've decided to do is other YouTubers, a lot of them have prompts, or like Caroline has the heart side prompts, Caroline on the hillside, or the heart prompts, and I want to do hers. So I think what I'm gonna do is each week my journaling card is not necessarily going to be made out of trash. It is going to be from a fellow YouTuber that has their prompts, and I'm going to do the prompt, and my substrate will be trash, but the rest I have no idea. It depends on what the prompt is, what I have. For this one, let's see, I did Pick 3 with Kri from Junk Turtle Divas, and I will always link the description box their channel or their Facebook group or both, whatever, you know, depending on what they have, in the description box. And if ever I do happen to forget that, please call me out in the description box. I keep saying description box. In the my gosh, you know what I'm trying to say, guys, in the comments, so I can add that, because it will not be deliberate for sure. All right, so we don't have this down yet. That's the wrong one. What did I do with the Cheez-Its? Did I throw it over? There it is. There we go. So you do see I am covering things up. It's just kind of a mishmash, like I said before. If my journal was bigger, then obviously I'd be able to use more of my things, but it's not, so I'm gonna use what I can. And then I want to move this up here. Okay, all right, so we have that laid down. I have a little pocket here. I would like to use this as a little tab. And with that, I'm going to use a stapler. I think those colors are super cool. Now, the one thing I don't have placement for is my journaling card. I got a sticker here too. Let's see, maybe we'll put it on this. So I have the Skittles bag, and I think that is going to be where my journaling card goes. I didn't get to use this, and that's, wait, maybe I won't use this. Maybe I use it. Okay, so real quick, my tag this month, like I said, this week came from Junk Journal Divas, Pick 3 with Kri. This is just a piece of cardboard. It had some writing. I can't even see what it is now, but I do have a reel out on this actually. And it's tissue paper, it's paint using a palette knife, and botanicals. So this is what I came up with for my journaling card. But maybe I could have it like that. I don't know. Or do I put it in here and attach this? I don't know. This is kind of large, but that doesn't really bother me. And then you can see the colors. I kind of want to do that, but I wonder, let's see. I like the fact that I can see it. What if I did it over here and then we had it like that? I don't know how well. I don't think it's going to adhere well. Okay, guys, sorry about that. I'm going to go with this, and we're going to put it in here. And I'm going to staple this together, because we don't need all that bulk and have it going every which way at once. And don't be afraid to use your staple gun, people, or your stapler. So there, we have that, and we have our journaling card, tag, whatever. Should I make that too tight? I hope not. I did. Son of a gun. It's all right. Not too worried about it. Just put it in here for now. And there is my journaling. Now I could add something over here. And remember, I do still have this pocket. So what do I have left? I have this from Heart Sticky Notes. Could always write on that. And maybe just for fun, we can make it a little colorful. It says that shiny. I probably should have gessoed it. It's all right. Excuse the noise. Okay, that's dried. These sticks are so awesome. Like, I just love these things. You don't think they're gonna dry, but they do, and they do pretty quickly. One thing I haven't tried, let's see. Yep. So this isn't too special, but gives it a little color. I don't really love it, but you can write on it. There's the matte side. So there we have it, you guys. Now, that's done. Okay, so one other thing I want to do each week is pull a journaling prompt, because I do want to make this a usable journal, which means not just something to look at, but to also journal in. And sometimes, like, I have my daily journal that I write in, but that's just more like a diary, I guess. I want this to be a little bit different. So I have here some simple journaling prompts that I am going to pull one each week, and that is what I'm going to journal about. So let's see what this week is. Okay, and it is What did I do that I am most proud of? Okay, so on the back here, what do I have there? I am going to go ahead and glue this down, and I will journal this off camera because it gives me a little something to think about, and I will have it filled out by next week's video. Okay, what did I do that I am most proud of? Gosh, there's not just one thing. There's plenty of things I've done that I'm proud of. There's things I've done I'm not proud of. But just to pick a single one, that's kind of difficult. So I may have to do a list on this one. And that may be the case for many of them. But so let's put that back in there. And then, like I said, I am going to give this another, maybe I'll use my larger one, staple, just so that doesn't go all willy-nilly everywhere. So it's not moving all the time when I'm flipping. All right. And then last off for this, I'm just going to cut off this here. I could always fold it up. It's got some plastic on there, so I'm just going to remove it. Okay, so there we have our first trashy page. I'm so excited. Check that out, you guys. Love it, love it. And then if I wanted, and I still might add some sort of focal point here, but as of right now, I'm happy with this page. So I hope you enjoyed this session. Please, if you haven't already, a like, a subscribe, you know, all the stuff, all the things. And I will move this into next week's, and we'll see if we use it or not. If not, that's okay, as well as this. So thank you all for watching, and we will see you all soon. Take care. Bye.